Hello, welcome to episode 2 of Art by Art with Simran. First of all, disclaimer, I'm recording this episode before releasing episode 1. So, if you have shared any feedback, any more questions, then I will be only able to share them after probably the third, fourth video. So, yeah, and I hope you have watched the first episode, and I'm excited to see what you guys have to say about it. All right. So, for those of you who are joining for the first time, hi, I am Simran. I teach calligraphy online and paint murals for corporate offices. I had been getting a lot of questions on Instagram. I'm sure every artist or creator gets it. So, I thought what would be a good way to keep these conversations going on and to be able to answer queries of a lot of people, because I'm sure these are common queries which everyone faces. And so I thought I'll just start this podcast, call it Art by Art, which is basically we are going through every challenge that you have part by part. And I just started out with challenges, but yeah, we can discuss anything that you would like based on what you share or what you ask in the comments of these videos, and I'll take that up in the next podcast or probably the next to next one, but I'll definitely take it up. So yeah, that's about it. In the last one we had discussed challenges which you had submitted based on my Instagram story that I had shared on challenges that you were facing in your art and art business. And I had a lot of questions that I could not complete in one episode. So I'll be now continuing with that in this episode, and trust me, there are a lot of interesting questions. It is about how to stay consistent with art, how to manage my art with a 9 to 5 job. What about reels? Instagram is so toxic, and yeah, a lot. So stay tuned and hope you like it. Hope you find some answers. If not, I hope you enjoy the conversation. And yeah, so with all this, let's start with the first question. So all of you who have not watched the first episode, I usually make notes before recording so that I've thought through your questions, made some notes so that I don't fumble or I don't digress from the point before sharing my opinion. So, or while sharing my opinion. So, yeah, I'll be looking into the laptop and talk. So, yeah, just sharing that. Yeah, I don't know why, but yeah. Okay, so let's get with the first question. The question number 1 is, okay, they wanted to be anonymous. So they've asked 2 questions. First is editing the pictures and making art reels for posting on Instagram takes too much of time and energy, but not give expected views and engagement most of the time. Also, I only use Instagram as platform till now. Any other good suggestions, please? Being consistent, part 2 is being consistent in art is another of my challenge, especially since I work in a 9 to 6 IT job. Trying but failing to be consistent. Not able to effectively manage my free time. Okay, so I think it's a very good question. Very well structured, also very well communicated, also, and I think a lot of people would have this question. In my opinion, again, not giving advice, so I'm just sharing my opinion, and we can discuss it in the comments also. Okay, in my opinion, you're trying to solve 2 problems at the same time. The first is, how to be a viral content creator, and the second is how to be consistent with your art. Now, these are 2 completely different things. I'll answer the second part first, which is how to be consistent. Well, in my case, I like to be realistic. What I mean is, being consistent is, to do something means different for different people. For example, you might see people post daily on Instagram, but let's say you must be posting, let's say, once in 2 weeks or once in a month. Now you would, by looking at them, you would compare yourself and think, oh my god, they are more consistent than I am. But I think, that's not the right way to look at it. Is because, of course, if someone has an entire day to dedicate to art, they they will be able to churn out more artwork. Okay, again, I'm not saying content, like they'll be able to churn out more content for social media, but they'll be able to, let's say, churn out more artwork. But for you, like you mentioned, you are into a 9 to 5 job, and that in itself is quite demanding. Apart from that, I'm sure you must have other work like housework, or maybe taking care of a child, or something else, right? So for you, you do not have that much time to be as consistent as the person who has the time to put in art daily. So first of all, define what is consistency for you, what is a comfortable pace for you, because you know your life the best. For example, when I moved to Noida for job, my consistency would be with calligraphy would be like on the weekends. Before, when I was in college, I would probably do it every day. Although at that time I was not that active on Instagram and I hardly cared about it. And then when I moved to job, I think for 1 year I did not do anything. Then I was just focused so much on work, which was, yeah, that's another story. But then my consistency went down to weekends, and that is when I found time. That is when I enjoyed doing it without any guilt, without comparing myself. Oh, this person is putting it every day. I am not putting it every day, but I am able to do it on the weekends. And maybe there's something wrong with me, or I'm just like too lazy, or I would like to be more consistent. So yeah, and then fast forward to today. So let's say today I am more into learning illustrations. So calligraphy has again taken a back seat for me in terms of practicing. So now I'm learning illustrations right now, and for me, that also, now I'm figuring out what should be the consistency for me, where I am comfortable learning and practicing that art. You can, any art, as a matter of fact, you can fill pages or draw hundreds of pages every day, but it should also be meaningful practice, where you are learning from your mistakes, where you are observing your practice work, and then revisiting that work, and thinking, okay, how can I make this better, right? Rather than filling hundreds of pages and then feeling, oh yeah, see, I'm so consistent. So yeah, consistency is subject. Oops, sorry. Yeah. So consistency is subjective, and I would say that figure out your consistency, what would be comfortable for you. Since the last year, I have developed this habit of waking up early. Uh, so waking up early, as in, like, I used to wake up at 5 a.m., and now I have shifted it to waking up at 4 a.m. And that is the time where I take out time to practice work that I want to develop, the skill that I want to develop. This was a practice, that was something I used to do when I was working, when I also had a job, and it was quite demanding. So I used to wake up early, and 1 hour, like, before I start getting ready for office, I would practice calligraphy. So yeah, that's how you can try and be consistent. And by consistent, you first have to work on defining what would consistency mean for you, rather than uh, getting in this loop of guilt that okay, that person is more consistent than me, and I am not doing as much as I should be, and feeling bad about what you're already doing. Okay, so that's like missing the whole point of doing art should bring you happiness and not guilt and all of those things. Now, coming to the second point, where I would like to connect it with the guilt part. The guilt comes that, oh, I'm not that consistent. What in recent times I've seen that comes because you feel like I'm not posting enough on Instagram, and people start to take it as, if I'm not posting, that means I'm not practicing. You can practice in your own time and still not post it. You don't have to create postable work to be able to think that you are consistent with your artwork. All right. That is something that this environment, this platform has created, that you have to be constantly active, constantly putting out content over there. So that is a different problem to solve, which comes down to the content creator part. And I agree, making reels and editing pictures and posting them on Instagram takes a lot of energy, takes a lot of time. And then when the engagement is, let's say, not at par with what you were expecting or what you think, the effort you put in, then it feels like, oh god, I've just wasted my time. To be very honest, in my opinion, Instagram is a shitty platform that way. It's quite a shitty platform right there. Um, so you've kind of answered it for yourself. So like even I realized that it takes up a lot of energy. So even I don't like make that many reels or basically the content that would go viral. Uh, for example, like none of my reels have gone viral. I mean, I have lost followers since the last year, and my engagement rates have gone for a toss on Instagram. Okay. But I don't really bother about that. I don't worry too much about it, because I'll explain it as we move ahead. uh, you know that's because mm, it's just this platform, right? It's not that is giving you that feedback loop that you need to kind of make these reels or make this content to be famous and to be viral. But for me, like, I figured out that it takes a lot of energy at my end, and I decided I don't want to do it because it's just, I mean, even if I make it, even if it does a little bit well, I am still left on for wanting more and more and more and more. Uh, Having said that, yes, I do make reels, but now I'm able to separate myself from that feeling that yes, that it should do better. I just make reel for the sake that yes, this platform requires this kind of content also. So yeah, I just put it. Sometimes I enjoy making it also, because now I have taken off the pressure that it has to go viral, it has to be a certain way. No, I just feel like this is what I want to create, and that's what I do. So basically, I try and focus on what is in my control. The engagement, making the reel go viral, is not in my control. It is basically I have to dance to the tunes of an algorithm. But what is in my control is to create the content that I like, and then let's see if it goes viral or not, because that is such a hit and miss. You don't know these days what gets attention and what not, what doesn't get attention. And that is no way a mark of ki if something is getting attention, it means it is good, and if something is not getting attention, that means it is not good. At the end of the day, your work matters. So I try and focus on what is in my control, which is just keep creating content, putting it out there. And again, I try to have this separation of expectation that, oh, it should go viral, it is so good and everything, because it's just out of my control. It's just, like I said, out of my control. So I decided that I'd rather spend time and energy on creating things that I like, that adds value to someone's life. For example, reels, they are just like short bits of entertainment, and I realized that, okay, do I want to be an entertainer? I was like, no, I don't want to be an entertainer. I rather want to be an educator. like I teach calligraphy, so I want to be an educator, and I realize that I like long form content which really adds value to someone's life, to someone's art journey. And that is why I decided to make videos on YouTube, because I realized I like long form content. And that's how I started with creating YouTube videos, because I was really fed up of Instagram. And it was like just having all your eggs in one basket. And basically, let's say if you're just active on Instagram, and then that's a shitty platform that is giving you just all the wrong kind of feedback on your work, that you're putting it out there and you're getting such wrong kind of feedback that, acha, I've gotten these many likes, it means this is shit. I've gotten no engagement, no views, I mean, this means that my work is shit. No, it's just, I think, in my opinion, making you an entertainer, how exciting or how scrollable your feed is. And I think that's not what I am personally looking for. So I diverted out to YouTube, and I am really enjoying this platform, and I get to interact with you guys. So yeah, that's how I figured out ways to find other platforms. Maybe this is something that you can try too. And when you ask that you need suggestions for other social media platforms, I'm not sure what you're looking for. Are you looking for more followers, more engagement over there? Or are you looking to, just, let's say, earn money out of it? Whatever your goal is, I think you are more aware of it. One advice that I give people who are, okay, I should not be giving advice. Okay, I'll share how I approach is. If I have to find clients for a work, then I try to figure out where are these clients hanging out, online. Where are they? On what social media platform, or on what platform are they available? I go there and be active there. So then it's not just that you have to be active on Instagram. Then let's say if you want to be an educator, probably you can be active on YouTube, or let's say I have a class on Skillshare. Likewise, you just figure out where your target audience is hanging out. Instagram is not the holy grail, and it just sucks the living life out of you. So I'm glad that you have realized that it takes up a lot of energy and you don't feel that great. I think that's a very good realization. In my experience, I've acted on that realization, and I've decided, okay, I will not spend my energy on things that just give this shitty feedback loop to me in number of likes and views. I would rather go out and create something that adds value to someone's life, and that also gives me pleasure, that yes, and that sense of that, yes, I've created something, so yeah. All right, I hope I've answered your question. If you have any follow-up questions, please feel free to comment in the video below, and we'll discuss it in the comments, or maybe in the next video. All right, let's move on to the second question. Again, they also wanted to be anonymous. So they've asked, I struggle with direction as a beginner, not sure how to go about and create my own work. Hesitating to start a page of my own as I lack confidence. I love doing art but do not know how to make a living out of it. Confused where I am headed. Your take on this one? Oh boy. God, I think you're trying to solve too many problems at the same time, I mean, okay, I'll just break it down. See, so first of all, you are a beginner and you want to learn art. Okay, that is one. The second is, then you want to create your own art, which I am assuming is that you want to create your own style, right? Third is that you want to start a page, but at the same time also want to build confidence. Okay, and the fourth one is you also want to make a living out of it. Oh my god, that is like so much pressure to take. And you're just saying that you're just confused but had I been in your position, I would have been overwhelmed and I would have been crying like, oh my god, what am I doing with my life, and what am I doing with my art? So first of all, I don't know your age, so I'm not able to imagine the whole scenario. But yeah, that is quite overwhelming at any age. uh, in my experience, I feel like if you put so much pressure on something that you like to do, which in your case is art, then you're bound to feel stressed, and in the end up you might even feel like giving it up, or you might even feel like a failure. For example, usually people turn to art to just enjoy, relax, and unwind. Of course, in recent times people have started to also make a living out of it through Instagram, YouTube, and other social media, let's say. So now the youth is getting this feedback that yes, art is also a career option, which is great, which is absolutely great. But then uh, those but then I think that pressure comes on ki, okay, if I choose this particular art to pursue, then it should first of all, I should get good at it, I should have a lot of Instagram followers, and I should be able to earn a living out of it. I think that's a lot of pressure to put on something new, something new that you're just trying out. Like you mentioned, you are just a beginner right now, you don't even know that art, or you're just getting to know it. So at least give yourself that freedom to enjoy that space, to enjoy that art and learn it. And maybe, after a while you realize that maybe you don't like it that much. Or maybe you like doing it, but there's not much that you can do with it in terms of commercially, but you still like to do it. So at least give yourself that freedom, and don't try to solve too many problems at the same time. Like if I were you, I would like take one step at a time. For example, I would, let's say, decide with, okay, what interests me. For me, I just started with calligraphy. I just started out scribbling those letters and I liked it. I had no idea that one day it would give me an option to earn commercially. And again, I saw other people earning from it, and that's where I was like, oh, okay, this can be done too. And that's how you see, and that's how you learn. But first of all, focusing on learning the art is very, very, very important. Don't skip that step. Enjoy your process, learn it. And coming to the second, where you also want to create your own art, that will only come when you dedicate yourself as a beginner to learning it. Your style will only come after that. For example, and before that, you just have to copy other people's work. For example, Stefan Kunz, who is a famous lettering artist, hand lettering artist, he also recommends that copy as much work as you can, because that is, copy as much good work as you can, because that is what is going to teach you. And but that does not mean that you should post it online posing it as your own, but just for the sake of learning, copy other people's art. Go to Pinterest, go to Instagram, find popular artists and look at their work, observe their work, how they go about it, how they try to solve problems, the design problems. And that is where the maximum learning is going to happen as a beginner. And then that is where your own style will start to develop. For example, for me, what I do is I observe a lot of work and I make notes that, okay, this is what I like. Maybe I like the stroke, maybe I like the X height, or maybe I like the layout, or maybe I like the script, the way they have written the letter S or G in a certain way. I make these notes. I'm observing, I'm also learning by observation. Art is not always, you learn by just doing it with hand practice. You also learn by observation. And I make notes, and then slowly and steadily I work towards building that style, keep refining it, and just kind of going into the depth of my work. And also your style keeps on changing. Like maybe you like brush calligraphy today and a certain way of it, and the other day you might want to do it you see some other artist and you get inspired from them and you want to do it in that way. So yeah, that's how you kind of work towards, at least in my experience I've seen, that's how I have worked towards building my own style, be it murals or be it calligraphy or be it, let's say, any other art form that you want to do. So yeah, I mean, first, as a beginner, just focus on learning that script. Then, okay, coming to that, uh, you now that you want to start a page and you're not feeling confident. Okay, I've heard this so many times that I'm not feeling confident, I want to start a page. And the common thread is that people just want it to be perfect, like they're scared of, okay, what if I put my work out there and it is not that great like other people, then then it's not worth it. See, uh, perfection always stands in the way of progress. For me, I whenever I post anything, when I was a beginner, when I was learning things, I would just post it out there because I didn't care what other people will think. I had started this page thinking that it would be just an online log of my progress, online log of my work, and I've never deleted any of my work. You can still go back and see my older posts, and then you'll realize that, okay, I was also quite shitty too, but at that time I really liked it. I was like, oh, I'm very proud of my work, I really like it, and that is what matters. And I did not compare myself with anyone that their page is so good, so my content only when my content reaches that level, only then I'll post it. I think that's just you standing in your own way. uh, and yeah, I mean, just go ahead and if you want to open account, post it. If you don't want to, it's absolutely not necessary. If Because if you're right now a beginner, most important is that you focus on learning the art. It's just that maybe you can change your perspective. So when I was a beginner, I used to post work because I wanted to, first of all, keep a log of my progress. Second, I wanted to interact with other beginners also, that okay, if are they learning, or if I could get some feedback. Maybe let's say somebody comes across my page and they then see something and they come to me and they say ki, hey Simran, maybe you can do this a certain way. So I was open to that. And keep an open mind, and you'll find the confidence. So yeah, that's what I have to add in here. I hope you take everything one step at a time, and yeah, figure out your way. Yeah, because that's how it is. uh, that's how it works. So yeah. All right. Dun. Cool. Okay, so the next question is quite good and to the point, and the answer is also even to the point, and it's going to be the last question for today. So it's by Yogesh Kumar. So he's facing two challenges. The first one is getting regular clients from any source and getting the full payment after work. Okay, so first of all, getting regular clients from any source is a wet dream for any freelancer. And this is a challenge that even I am sorry about that. I burped. So, this is a challenge that even I am facing right now. I'm dealing with it right now because I started freelancing, painting murals like 1.5 years back. So yeah, having a regular stream of clients is a wet dream, something that you would definitely want. But yeah, in real life, it doesn't happen. So my approach right now has been to at least be consistent, or at least focus on what is in my control. Uh, you know, uh, Sometimes I have a lot of leads and I follow up with them and they get interested, and then at the end moment they just drop out for some random reason. And that definitely breaks my heart. But yeah, that's how you have to go keep moving ahead. So rather than focusing my energy there, I try and focus on, okay, what is in my control. So the first most obvious thing is to market myself, which I do via content by posting on social media regularly, talking about my work, and sharing that yes, these are the opportunities that I'm open to. Second is that I network with people, I go and talk to people, and just like regular conversations, and then I also share, okay, this is the work that I do and these are the kind of opportunities that I am looking forward to. Maybe you can go to meetups or online meetups or something like that and share it there. This is something that I do, which is in my control. And the I mean, this is okay. Let me think. I just kind of lost a little bit of track of my train of thought. So yeah, so you had asked that how to get regular clients, right? So yeah, I mean, first is that you keep sharing content, keep sharing your work, and I like to diversify. For example, I would like to share either pictures, sometimes videos, sometimes time lapses, sometimes an inside story where the prospect client can relate to the story, and you don't know, people are sucker for stories, and sometimes they even relate to that and hire me for the job. So yeah, I try and focus on what is in your control, which is to constantly keep sharing your work, just getting the word out there. The second that you have asked is about getting full payment after work. Uh, in this, I'm assuming that the client delays, delays in making the payment. So to avoid this scenario, what I do is I add a late fee payment term in my invoice in the beginning only. In my experience, I've seen it's not that the client doesn't want to pay you, but it's just that, let's say for example, if you're working for a bigger organization, sometimes they have so many processes and so many people involved that this thing kind of goes on a lower priority, and then because they are occupied with so much other things, and then it becomes your responsibility to kind of keep sending them constant reminders that please clear the invoice, pay the bills and all of those things. But so to avoid all of that, I add a late payment charge, which kind of solves the problem. So yeah, maybe you can try that. If that is the case, I am sure that this will definitely work out for you. So all right, we are done with all the questions. I hope you enjoyed watching and listening to this podcast, Art by Art with Simran. Again, like I said in the last video, if you have any suggestions for names, please, I'm open to it. And I hope you found this helpful. Please post whatever questions you have, or anything that you want to share or discuss related to art or your art journey. Put it down in the comments below. I will take that up and I will answer it in the next video, next podcast. All right. Thank you so much, and ta-ta, bye-bye.